Okay, so with the highlights done, now we need to focus on the last part of this subheader. So that will be the resources section that we see on the right hand side here, and that's going to display the links that we have in our stock object. So let's go ahead and get started on that. We'll create a new component in source component resources, and we'll create a resources.jsx file, and we'll create a functional component called resources, and we'll also create the CSS module. So let's make sure we return a div, and we'll import styles from resources modules, the CSS module, and we'll give it a style resource class name. Now we need to grab our globe icon. So we have an SVG in our icons folder, and we'll import that and give that the path. And we'll have a container that's going to keep the globe icon, which is going to have a class name of styles icon, and we'll have a link which is going to href. It's going to link to the links that come from our stock object. So we're going to accept two things in this component, which is going to be the home page and the investor page, and then we'll give the first link to the home page, and we'll give that a class name of styles.link, and we'll give it a target of blank, so that'll open the link in a new tab. And whenever we do that, we need to add this rel no opener no referrer. And we need to give that a text, so we'll say homepage, and then we will add another one, and we'll say that this is going to link to the investor page, and we'll put in the name. So with that done, let's go to stock view, and we'll add the resources component that we just created, and we're gonna go ahead and refactor a little bit here. So we'll remove the conditionally render that surrounds these components, and what we'll do is we'll wrap the entire subheader here. So the contents of the subheader, will wrap that in a fragment, which is just a React way of putting something in a container that doesn't have any implications on the DOM. And then we'll add a conditional render, and we'll say if there is a stock, then we want to show our all of this. So now we need to give it a stock.homepage and a stock investor page. And of course we can't name it stock, we need to name it homepage and investor page, because that's what this component expects. If we go back, we see that we are destructuring these two elements, so we need to make sure that matches up with the props. Let's go ahead and check out our browser. And we have a problem here, because we are trying to read a property of stock, but I suspect that inside of the use effect here, when we're filtering over the stocks and we're using the ticker to find them, we have a problem, because the first time that this component renders, it doesn't have access to the stocks. So I think this is undefined, and we can check that out and just console log stocks out here, and let's go up here, and alright, so it's an empty object, empty array, and that means that inside of here, when we're trying to find a stock, we're doing .find on an empty array, which means that this is first going to be undefined, and then once the stocks array updates, then it's going to actually find the stock. But that means that we are setting, so stock is undefined, and we're trying to then access a property on it, even though we actually have this initial object. So what we want to do inside of here, we want to say if stocks.length equals 0, we want to just return out. And that fixes the problem. So now let's go ahead and go back to our resources component, and let's add a header, and we'll give it actually we'll say h2, and we'll say resources. And then we'll go ahead and style this. So resources, module, we'll grab this first, and we'll give everything inside it a color. Whoops. Make sure we actually make the rule sets. Give that a white color. And we'll give the header a font size of var h1 font size. And we'll give the container a display flex property. And then the icon needs to have a fill. If we go ahead and just check our browser, this is what it looks like now, and we'll go ahead and fill out the rest. So we'll give the icon a fill of white, we'll give it a width of 22.5 pixels. Might have to adjust that, but we'll see what that looks like. And I'll give the margin right of 8 pixels. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe we'll adjust it to 20. And then we'll give the containers a margin top and bottom of 10 pixels. And we'll give the header a font size of normal. And see what this has. Font weight, of course. And we'll say that the width is 300 pixels. Alright, so give it a width of 200, and then we'll handle the link. We say text decoration, none, and color inherit. So that takes care of our links. And let's go ahead and say that we are pretty happy with how the subheader looks now. So the next part we need to do is we need to create this submenu, and then we get started on the content area here. So we'll go ahead and handle that in the next video. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you there.